Hi everybody, how are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. It's pretty late and this is like the third time I've done this voiceover because I am just not feeling it. But I'm gonna power through because that's what I do. I'm making a poinsettia out of felt today because I went to Hobby Lobby and I wanted to buy one and they were $20 and I don't play that game. So I got 2 sheets of felt, I already had some wire at home, some glue, some clothespins, some floral tape. I was ready to go. My floral wire is from Walmart. I cut it in half so there are 9-inch pieces. There's 20 of them, so 10 pieces cut in half is 20. I have some little scissors, I have some big scissors. The little scissors are for detail work, the big ones are for like bulk cutting. So, this is how everything works out. You need 5 pieces that are 2 by 5 by 6, and you need 5 pieces that are 1.5 by 3. But I'm going to go through this first. These 2.5 by 6, that's going to be set A. Those are our biggest ones. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, and there's 1 in the upper right corner. And in our second sheet, they're 2 by 5, and there's 5 all the way across. So I'm marking this B, I'm marking these A, and for our third set, C, they're 2 by 4, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way across. Because they're the same width as B. There I was just double checking it because I was like, that worked out good. But I wanted to lay it out like this and then show you how it's laid out to maximize the spaces. So this is D, it's 1.5 by 3. 3 of them are going to go on the first sheet and 2 of them are going to go on the second sheet. I messed up when I was marking right here. You're going to have that strip that's 1.5, just cut 3-inch pieces out of it. You don't have to do 1 on each side like mine is. And you don't have to lay them out like this. Do you have a yard of felt? These are just the sizes you need. You need 5 of the A, B, C, and D. And that gives you a pretty full poinsettia in the end. And see, that's the only scrap piece we have left over, is that one little section. So it's a very economical way to use 66 cents worth of felt. So now I'm just going to cut each piece out. I'm going to cut each set out, and then later on I'm going to go back and cut all the pieces out. Just because I thought this was a little confusing, so I wanted to make sure that I made it as easy to understand as possible. There's C. And D is the only one that's really spread out over the 2 pieces. So I'm checking these again, because I don't know if my felt was stretched or something, but those were a little bit longer. But if they're not perfect, it really doesn't matter, because we're going to be cutting petal shapes out of this, and those don't have to be perfect, because guess what? Nature's not perfect. So here's my stack of A, and I'm going to put that right there. I find it really helpful to keep everything ordered and labeled, because some of the smaller pieces, they kind of look the same. The 2 bigger pieces kind of look the same, and you can put them next to each other and figure it out, but it was just easier to keep everything labeled, and I like staying kind of organized. All I'm doing here is sketching out a poinsettia leaf. I don't have a template. I didn't try to make them all match exactly the same. I did a big fat round bottom coming up to a point. And all you want to do is make sure you're maximizing this rectangle. So make sure it starts at the bottom and it goes all the way to the other end. And get it as wide as the felt allows at the base. And now, because I just kind of all cut these out in bulk, I'm going to go through, and if there's any like little jagged edges or anything, I'm going to fix those up. And yeah, I should have probably pulled my camera back for this. Sticking the label back on there, putting them off to the side. And now I'm just going to really speed through the rest of this because it's exactly the same thing. We're going to make our little stack. Line them up as best we can. They don't have to be perfect. And then for this one, I figured that it was easier to start with the point and then round out the bottom. And I didn't even mark this one. And they actually came out a little bit better. Some of my points were a little off, so I went back with my scissors and just trimmed them up, because when I think of a poinsettia, that's what I think of, is that pointy edge. So now they're all cut. We have 5 of A, 5B, 5C, and 5D. You can go back, trim them up a little bit more. They don't really have to be perfect, because we're going to end up folding these in half to make the petal shape. So if they're a little off, you're not going to see it in the end. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Now, when I started doing this, I had the bright idea that I'm going to use glue, because I didn't want to use hot glue because it gets everywhere, and I wasn't going to use my tacky glue because it's really hard for me to hold the bottle. So I bought these little glues from Dollar Tree, and this, right now, what I'm showing you, this is not what to do, because this didn't work. This is the fast grab glue. It didn't even hold the felt together. I mean, I know attempting to glue the metal to the felt is a bit of a stretch, but it didn't even glue the felt to the felt. So I don't think tacky glue, whatever kind of brand you use, white glue, it's not the way to go. I ended up doing all of these with my hot glue gun, just very carefully applying it, because when we fold these together, you want it to create a little pinch part at the bottom, and you don't want the glue to seep out. You want it to hold the wire in place without making a mess. So these are some tips. You can search for pips on Amazon. You can search for pearlized stamens. You can search for pistils. Mine are from Amazon. You can get these in the floral section or the bridal section at like Michael's. Around Christmas time, they have them by the Christmas miniatures in red. But these were from Amazon. It's like 1,300 of them, and I just picked the kind of creamy pearl color instead of the stark white or the red or the yellow. I mean, traditionally these would probably be yellow, but yellow and red, nah, not for me. So I'm taking another piece of wire, and I'm just going to bend that into a little hook. And you can put as many pips as you want in the middle. I just grabbed a couple, because it doubles up, because there's one on each end. So put the glue in there, hook it through, and then there you go. You have a little center, and y'all know how much I love floral tape, so I'm going to go and tape the top and pull it down. And if you've never used floral tape, you pretty much pull the tape as you're turning it against the wire, and the adhesive activates and it sticks to itself. So there's our center. Now we're going to take set D. We're going to surround the center with these. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to get them perfect, get them all turned in the right way. We're just trying to get them on there. They're all wired, so that means when we're done, we can move all of them. We're just trying to keep them at the same height, and we're trying to keep everything nice and tight so they're not too wild. Now that everything's in there, I'm going through and taping again. I'm not taping all the way down because I'm going to go over that so many times. It would be redundant and a waste of materials. So now I can turn these all towards the center, and I'm fanning them out in like a star pattern. You could cut more of these if you wanted to. I thought the 5 gave a pretty full flower in the end, but if you wanted to do 7, you could. If you want to do 6, you could. I don't really like even numbers. I just find it a little easier when you have the 5 and you know how to put all the next ones on, because you're just putting them in between everything else. So this is set C. And I'm going to put these in between set D. So we're working from the middle and going out. The petals are going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And as I'm doing this, I'm snugging everything up to the top. And then I'm going to floral tape again. And this round, I'm going to start cutting off some of the wires, because if you don't taper the wires down, then when you're done with everything, you're going to have 21 wires at the bottom, and it's going to be like the thickness of a drinking straw. Which, if you're going to put it in a vase or something, that's fine, but I was using this for another project, and I knew I wanted to be able to bend like a traditional pick that you would get in the store. And again, I'm just turning these all out, and this is kind of like making a bow. Like, I kind of got it fluffed. It was fluffed as I was going, and then I kept fluffing it, and then it was done. I gave it a final fluff. So you could stop right here, and that's a nice little flower. But I wanted the big one. So now I'm adding in, this is set B. And just keeping everything tight and snugged up. I keep saying that. I mean, push all the petals up against each other. So you have a relatively flat flower, even though it's got all these layers. And I kind of started a little bit down from the stem, and then I go up just to make sure it's tight at the base of the flower, and then start wrapping the way down. You can see right there how it's tapering already. And because I tried to glue the first one, some of those weren't completely stuck. So I did have to go back and add a little bit of glue to make sure everything was staying where it should be. And if you get this to a shape that you really like and you're worried about it getting bent out of shape, if you put it on a wreath or something, you can go and kind of glue all the petals together. I didn't do that just because, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do it. It seemed like a lot of extra work for something I could just fluff up. But if you're not the kind of person who wants to do like maintenance on your crafts year after year, I guess you could go through and just kind of put a little bit of glue together, make sure everything stays as one solid piece instead of 20 separate pieces. So yeah, I found that it was best for me to kind of like push everything up and then peel back the A layer, peel back the B layer, the C layer, the D layer, and make sure they're spaced out like that. But in the end, you're just going to have to move stuff around because they're going to go where they want, and you have to be the boss of them and say, hey, no, you're going to go where I tell you to go. And that seam right there was a little bit open. There was some glue showing, so I added some more glue and then pinched it shut again. And that's a finished flower. It's for a special project that will be up after this video. I don't know when this video is going up because my schedule is so messed up right now, and there are so many videos that are half filmed and half edited and half voiced over, so it'll be coming up soon. It makes a pretty big flower. I mean, it was about the size of my hand. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and here's the flower on the finished piece that I'm working on. I don't want to show the whole thing because then, you won't be surprised when it comes out. So thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Instagram, and most importantly, have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.